Okay, everyone. We're going to start out with Sisters High School in Sisters, Oregon, and let's take a look at their really cool program they got going on, integrated with VisualCADCAM. So this slide here, you see on the left, we see the subject part that we're going to be taking a look at. It's a ukulele neck, and on the right, you see then Governor Kate Brown of Oregon holding that specific part in her hand and talking to one of the students. So I'm gonna explain that a little bit more here in just a second also. Okay, where is Sisters High School and what do they do? Okay, Sisters High School is located in Sisters, Oregon, the town named Sisters, and it takes its name from the nearby Three Sisters Mountains, the mountain range. And Tony Cosby is the technology instructor at Sisters High School, and Tony teaches beginning and advanced woodworking. He teaches construction and introduction to engineering and design through a program called Project Lead the Way. You may be familiar with that. That's a curriculum that is written by actual engineers for high school students. And so what do the students do? They manufacture ukulele and luthier guitars. Now, we're talking from start to finish. In the, I believe it's a 2-year program. So at the end of the 2-year program, they're going to have a completed guitar. So since introducing the luthier program in 2005, each class has averaged 30 instruments a year. And then at the end of the year, students can keep their instrument, obviously, or they can sell it at a fundraising auction for the school. Now, the program also, Tony is assisted by Jason Bowerman of Breedlove Guitars. And also he has a team of 12 dedicated on-site volunteers. Now, you can just imagine the size of this program. Tony and 12 other people helping students build guitars, and it's pretty awesome. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I mentioned then Governor Kate Brown. Why is she at Sisters High School? Well, the program at Sisters High School has been so popular. It's like the thing in the town that's talked about. If you're anywhere around Sisters and you're familiar with the high school or with the students there, you know about this program. And then it's also been picked up locally through news presentations. The local news stations have talked about it. And that's where it came to the attention of then Governor Kate Brown. And she wanted to visit to see what this program is all about, why was it so successful, and how she can possibly implement this program statewide to all high schools throughout Oregon. And that's pretty exciting. Now, this is the part we're going to look at. What you're seeing here is VisualCADCAM. We're looking at the CAD part. This is VisualCAD. And the part, Sisters High School actually has multiple seats. They have VisualCADCAM, and they also have VisualCAM for SolidWorks. So this part came out of SolidWorks and loaded up into VisualCAD. And as you can see, it's a 3-dimensional neck of a ukulele guitar. Now, here is another slide of VisualCADCAM. This is a cut material simulation in VisualCAM, which is the plugin that runs inside of VisualCAD. And we're looking at the initial horizontal roughing toolpath, or also referred to as ZLevel roughing or roughing in levels. And here on this screen, we got the ZLevel display dialog shown, and we're looking at level number 7 in the cut material simulation. Okay, what's interesting about this part as far as VisualCADCAM goes, other than the fact that it's, you know, it's a cool 3D part, it's a guitar neck, and it's going to come out looking very well. But what's interesting about this from a CAM standpoint, from VisualCAM inside of VisualCAD. So if you look at the two inset images, the one on the top is 3-axis Z-level roughing. Three-axis Z-level finishing. And if you're familiar with Z-level finishing, it slices the part in the XY plane at a given distance between levels in the Z direction. So what happens there is if you have a part that has flat areas or near flat areas, you'll see, and you start to see it here in this top image, the cutter path will leave cusping that you'll have to come back with a separate operation and clean that up. However, in VisualCADCAM, you have an option called Optimized XY Machining. And this is just a toggle. You just turn it on inside of Z-level finishing, and you tell it what your step over you want it to be. And it goes in and calculates additional tool paths and places them between the Z levels. So you see here, we got a big area that's leaving a cusping. So down here, you see that all the XY passes that the program calculated that it needed to clear all that material out. And we're going to be taking a look at this part specifically in just a second. Okay, obviously, when every user that we talk to, our main question is why? Why are you using our product? Why aren't you using a competitor's product? Why are you still with us? And we get a lot of different answers, but they tend to boil down in two main areas. And for Tony, I'm going to paraphrase him here, and you can read it here in the background. Primarily ease of use for Tony. He's working with high school students. So these are young students, sharp minds, but they have never been introduced to anything close to CAD or CAM. So Tony has, talked with other instructors in nearby schools, some who have master CAM. And the kids there are struggling greatly. So if you can imagine a high school student trying to understand MasterCam in order to get his ukulele guitar neck machined, it's a big struggle, and they're just bogged down with it. So as Tony says, it takes a lot of time to learn new software, and when he finds something that both works and is easy to use, he stays with it, and that's his main reason. Now here, these are some cool inlays. Each student, as I said, gets to build their guitar from start to finish, and they can choose from different designs, different body designs, different inlay designs. And for those of you who may not be familiar with inlays, basically you're taking composites of materials and you're machining a pocket, and then you're inlaying that secondary material into that pocket. So if you see here on the left, this is a very, very intricate inlay design. I mean, for a high school student, it is phenomenal. You see that you have the base wood of the body, and then you have two different woods, one the outer ring, and then another wood for the inner ring. And then you have mother of pearl that's inlaid around the inner wood composite in a lace pattern. Now that is a very, very complicated inlay, and it looks beautiful. And then on the right, this guitar has this student has chosen to inlay a hat, which typically they're out west, so a lot of them are wearing cowboy hats. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Oh, I wanted to mention here that if you see this link here at the bottom of the slides, you can go to this, you type in this link in our website, and you can see the full case study for Sisters High School. Now on this slide, on the left, you will see another beautiful inlay. We see two different types of wood, the bass guitar, and then the profile of the Sisters Mountain Range and a secondary wood on the bottom, and then also a starburst inlay around the opening here. Now on the right, new students that come in to the program, the first thing they do is they take a tour of the shop, and they can look at all the different components that make up their ukulele guitar. So they can choose, you know, their design. They can choose a body style, they can choose a neck style, they can choose the inlays, the bridge types, all kinds of things. So they do that initially, and that's what these students here are doing right now. Now I like this slide. Look at all those happy faces. And Tony Cosby there sitting down in the front. This is at the end of their program in 2015 to 2016. Everyone's standing up and showing off their guitars. All of the parents are in there watching, and the kids are just having a great time. And you can tell they put a lot of sweat and effort into this guitar, and they like it. So that's cool. And at the last minute, I slipped in this slide just to give you an idea of the Three Sisters Mountain Range in Oregon. Now that's beautiful.
So Don, I just put the PDF link for the case study in the chat window.
Oh, great.
So just for the reference for our audience. So
okay. Thanks.
Hopefully you can link. Okay.
Appreciate that, Joe. Okay, so let's keep going. And if you want to get more information, as Joe mentioned, he put the link to our case study there in the chat window. Also, if you want to go and get more information online about Sisters High School, you can visit them at shs.ssd6.org, and that'll take you right to the Sisters High School website. And then obviously, if you want more information about VisualCADCAM, you can go to MecSoft.com/visual-mill, and that'll take you to the VisualCADCAM product page. Also, I wanted to stop here and just mention, if anybody has any questions, please do type them into the chat window, and Joe will be monitoring them in the background. So I hope everyone can see that screen. This is VisualCADCAM. This is our own standalone VisualCADCAM product. And what you're seeing is VisualCAM as a plugin inside of VisualCAD. So this is the model that was designed in SolidWorks and then opened up inside of VisualCAD. And the toolpaths that they use to machine this, let's just go through them here, and I'll show you the paths, and then I'll show you the cut material simulations and what makes this particular part interesting. Every part is interesting. It has its own unique characteristics and things that happen inside of VisualCAM and RhinoCAM that make it a really interesting build. So let's go through the toolpaths initially. We have let's turn the toolpaths on. We have a Z-level roughing operation, and you can look at that in levels. You can just go down and look at each level in the cut material simulation or the toolpath simulation. So there is the initial horizontal roughing, and that roughing is done initially without adaptive roughing enabled. Now, adaptive roughing, that is a new enhancement we added just recently, which allows you to actually combine a re-roughing and a roughing operation in one operation. And what it does is goes back and analyzes the step downs and allows you to specify an additional step down distance to actually go out and take more material away from the part, all in the same operation. And we'll show you that in just a second. So here is the initial Z-level finishing operation. without optimized XY machining enabled. And what you see here is that as the XY Z-level planes are sliced in order to calculate the toolpath, in the area that's near flat or just barely radiused on the neck, you see the widening between the toolpaths, and that's going to leave cusping along the neck, and it's going to leave a lot of cusping along here, which you would normally have to go through with another operation to clean that up. However, the same operation with optimized XY machining enabled, it's just a checkbox you turn on and you specify a step over distance, and you see that it calculates additional toolpaths to clear all of this material out and get a nice finish in one toolpath operation. And then we have a cleanup profiling operation to clean up the sides. So let's look at the cut material simulation. So here is our box stock for the neck. Zoom in a little bit. And here is our initial Z-level roughing. Let's turn the toolpath off. So you see a lot of stair stepping going on here. You can see it in this view over here. A lot of stair stepping, a lot of material being left here that you may want to go back and remove with another operation. Well, there's no need to do that. We just turn on adaptive roughing, and this is illustrated by this next operation. Same operation, just copied down with adaptive roughing enabled. And you see what it did is it cleared out a lot more material along here and along the neck area and along here as well. So that's all in one operation. Now, here in the Z-level finishing, this is without optimized XY machining enabled. And what you see, I mentioned the cusping areas around the near horizontal areas, it leaves a lot of material. So even though you might have a really tight step down in the Z level, it's still going to leave material because it's a large distance between the toolpaths in this area where it's near horizontal, and you can see it up here as well. So how does it look with optimized XY machining enabled? Again, this is just a checkbox, the same operation. You turn the checkbox on, you give it a step over distance, and this is what you come up with. All of that material is removed. So you have your initial Z-level finishing, and then it goes in and adds additional toolpaths in these areas. As you can see, here is the main cut level. Here is the main cut level, and then it added all of these extra paths in there to clean that material up. So you can do that all in one operation. Okay, that's the Sisters High School ukulele neck. Let's take a look at RhinoCAM from IYRS. Just one second.
There was a question on where do you turn on the optimized XY machining?
Okay.
And I actually posted a link to the blog article.
Okay.
On Sisters where,
okay.
But if you can quickly show it.
Yeah, let's go back to the Sisters High School one, and I'll show it to you there. Okay, so this is the ukulele neck, and let's go into the first horizontal finishing or Z-level finishing operation without optimized XY machining enabled. And this one has it enabled. So let's go into the toolpath dialog here. So for horizontal finishing, you got here's all your control parameter tabs. There's a tab called Optimize Machining, and you select that tab, and there's a checkbox right here to turn it on and off. So initially, you just turn it on, and you can provide it with additional parameters to control the step over that it's going to add in those areas. So here it's 0.03 or 30 thousandths step over, and you can also control the entry and exit, in the additional step over areas. So that's where it's enabled in the horizontal finishing dialog. Okay, hope I answered that. If not, we can get some more. As Joe mentioned, he put a link in the chat session to our blog post that talks about that specifically.